Coming up this week on the Course of Life podcast, my whirlwind travel tour continues through the world of golf. We're recapping the action in New Orleans at the Zurich, plus my Houston and Dallas trips for the LPGA and PGA Tour Champions event, and a fun week ahead at a familiar destination coming our way as well. We're tuned into some vintage NYC footage and Ted Lasso content as well. This week's guests include some clips from my chats at the invited celebrity event with tennis pros Mardy Fish and Jack Sock. Plus on the LPGA, we have Gemma Dyburgh back on the show, and an awesome conversation with Red Sox legend Kevin Millar delivering an all-time podcast quote. Plus, we end with our Buc-ees obsession and always end with food, but all of it brought to you most importantly by our friends at Swing Juice. And Mike, I hear you just got something in the mail from our friends at Swing Juice, representing the lovely Swaggericious brand on the golf course and off the course. They have attire for pretty much any golfer, and we love the Swing Juice vibes. What'd you get there? You get a shirt, a little hoodie action?
I did. Nice little care package sent over by our new friends at Swing Juice. Got a nice little green T-shirt with the Swing Juice circle logo on it.
Love green.
Held it up for the wife, and she was like, "Oh, that color looks really nice on you." I was like, "Oh, thanks." And then held up, and then a black T-shirt with the Vista logo from Swing Juice as well. It says Swing Juice on it. She also said, "Oh, I like that one too." And then a hoodie with the American flag, but the stars are golf balls and the stripes are golf clubs. And she went, "Oh, I like that one too." So the wife approves of everything from Swing Juice that I got.
3 for 3 from the wife, plus we love the swagger and the vibe that Swing Juice sends off with all of their apparel, from shirts to hoodies to hats to pants and everything else to help you on and off the course live your most stylish life there. The golfers out there love the Swing Juice night and day. We do as well. Promo code LIFE20. Again, promo code LIFE20 to save you 20% off anything at swingjuice.com. Check them out and look forward to seeing everyone in their Swing Juice apparel. Promo code LIFE20 at swingjuice.com.
Hello, interwebs, and welcome to Course of Life. We are proud to be presented by our friends at Desert Fox Golf and Swing Juice. I'm Michael. He's Alex. And Alex, they were in the Bayou. They were in New Orleans, just outside of the city, for the Zurich Classic of New Orleans at TPC, Louisiana. A whole lot of jazz music being played on the CBS broadcast. And Nick Hardy and Davis Riley, if you've never heard of them, that's because they've never won a PGA Tour event until this weekend, when they won at 30 under par, securing status. Big win. And as I put out, the Zurich Classic is the second highest producing event of brand new PGA Tour winners, next to only the John Deere Classic.
Yeah, and maybe I think it helped in the moment and for the vibe that both these guys were gunning for their first win at the same time, but they had each other by their side because of the unique format and this two-man team competition where it's quite literally alternate shot, Mike, on Sunday. And you know what that's like. That is like you're hitting the tee shot and I'm going to wherever that tee shot is, and I'm playing from wherever that is, good or bad. So it takes a lot of leaning on your teammate. And Hardy and Riley have been playing golf together forever. They're BFFs on tour, and lo and behold, they got their debut win together. Not much better feeling than that to get the first win.
Yeah, and as they said in some of their post-ride interviews too, they were relying on each other because of the nerve level and knowing that maybe, if it wasn't all right, the other one would pick them up. So great to hear that they were able to really lean on each other, because last year's champions, Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantlay, they finished T4, but they didn't do that great, really.
No, not really. I mean, I had Horschel and Burns in my picks as well. I saw the Sahith Theegala, Justin Suh combo did pretty well for them. Taylor Moore and Matthew Neesmith. I had a good all-around picking week, but didn't have the winner, obviously, in Riley and Hardy. So shout out to those two debut winners. And hey, listen, maybe individually, Nick Hardy and or Davis Riley weren't ready to win on their own, but together they got it done, and that's all that matters. So they're tour members for the next 3 years, regardless. Now,
I do want to touch on that 1990s Parrot group team of John Daly and David Duval, who just put up an atrocious 14 over par, 12 over, 12 more strokes worse than the next worst group out there.
They're catching some flack on the internet for this, Mike. The taking up a spot in the field crew, you know that crew on Twitter, they were pretty loud in the direction of John Daly and David Duval for when those scores came in last week.
Pretty atrocious, pretty disappointing overall. You know, you would expect to see them at least shoot in a team golf event, shoot par. Only 2 teams didn't shoot under par. It was them and then Parish Amin and Michael Thompson, a 2-over for the first 2 days.
And Parish Amin, I read this, is literally just like some guy who's not even a pro, who's just a friend of Michael Thompson. So again, it was calling into this idea of like, all right, you're a PGA Tour pro, you have this exemption, we're giving this exemption, but like, are you going to be competitive enough? Because we've got others that are knocking on the door that will gladly be more competitive. So obviously that issue will continue to play out when things like this happen.
Yep. There also was this LIV Golf event down under. They were in Australia.
They were. It was pretty lit there.
It was, you know, they had the watering hole, a par 3 hole, very similar to what you would see at the Waste Management.
Yep, that's right.
So they were there at LIV Golf Adelaide, I think is how you pronounce it if I'm doing it right there for Australia. And hey, Koepka got a hole in one, man. Chase Koepka.
That's right. Oh yeah, it was LIV Golf history was made. Don't blink. That's my Arlo White right there. Yeah. Don't blink. You might miss this, but just a moment ago, Chase Koepka making LIV Golf history. Yes, everyone went wild and threw beers for Chase Koepka, not Brooks, making the hole in one there at the watering hole. I get it. They were mimicking the 16th hole vibe at the Waste Management. They had a pretty healthy, rowdy crowd, maybe the healthiest, loudest crowd, I would say, in the history of LIV. So I'll tip my cap there. But you poked fun at it. Just this idea that absolutely everything is history. Yeah. Every single LIV Golf broadcast, and my guy Arlo White is certainly good at playing up that narrative as well too.
I mean, yes, they have no history, so literally everything that happens for the first time is history. That doesn't. And
Michael, this is LIV Golf history. Don't blink, you'll miss it.
Should we also then shout out how it was LIV Golf history at LIV Golf Adelaide? Taylor Gooch won by 3 shots, and the 4 aces won once again on
freaking 4 aces. Man. God, the champagne celebrations never stop for that team. Golly,
it's just They
might like switch to a different liquor or alcohol at this point. They might be sick of champagne. They've had so much of it, I think.
I mean, this is only their first event win in 2023. But they are number 1 in the team standings. I'm on the LIV Golf website right now. I can't believe I'm looking at this. Number 1 in LIV Golf standings is 4 aces with 96 points. However, they determine these point numbers. I don't know. Followed by Torque and the Stingers. They round out your top 3.
Good stuff. Good seeing the tours a little bit further in different spots across the pond. But let's get to my travels because I had myself a busy week.
Yeah, you were all over the state of Texas, and let's start at a major. It was the Chevron Championship for the LPGA, new venue in Texas now. They still had a pond that they were going to jump into because you got to keep that at the Chevron at the very least.
They did, and I was there early in the week at Tuesday, and you saw the pictures I posted where I saw the platform, and I immediately thought, I was like, oh, okay, they're going to leave this opportunity open. And early in the week when I was watching the players' press conferences, Mike, no one was very committal to say whether they were going to jump in or not. So that was kind of the ongoing narrative all week. Would the winner jump in just like they jumped in at Poppy's Pond in Rancho Mirage in Palm Springs? In the end, the champion did jump in, and the caddy did a wonderful belly flop as well, too. So.
Yep, and that champion is Lilia Vu. It's her second win on LPGA on the tour and her first major victory. And like you said, she jumped in. She did it.
Yeah, she gave herself a 5 out of 10. She gave herself a 5 out of 10 on the jump. She said it was a little cheesy that she held her nose tight, but she didn't want to get water in her nose. So listen, I understand that. That's a real world thing. So, but the caddy belly flop was definitely the highlight. So shout out to Cole, the caddy there. And yeah, it was really cool to be at the venue early in the week and see how that 18th hole looked. And it set up for a really great dramatic finish. I think it's a win overall. The event obviously had a lot of great history there in Palm Springs, but really great finish. Good crowd showed up in Texas. Absolutely pristine Nicklaus signature course. So I expect many more major champions chips there to happen in the years to come.
And who do we expect to hear from your time there when you were at the Chevron? What interviews do we have lined up?
Yeah.
Who can you kind of talked a little bit last week about who you were talking to when you talked about Bam Bam Brittany Lincecum,
which was confirmed. We had a great conversation with Brittany, which is coming up in a soon to be episode of Course of Life. This week we're going to hear from Gemma Dyburgh, and to tease this interview coming up shortly as well. She gets into all things about her amazing $10,000 toilet that she won for her victory in Japan last fall. So the content doesn't get any better on this week's episode. So you're here and you're at the right spot. So keep listening for more great LPGA content as well.
After you went to the Chevron, you then went up the road to the Invited Celebrity Classic, part of the PGA Tour Champions, which was a celebrity pro-am format, kind of legends of the game on legends of other games as well. Who you caught up with even more people there?
It was a good mix. I sent you this lineup and you were like, dang, a lot of former MLB guys there. It's like, yeah, there were all sorts of legends.
I think what I liked best our interaction when we were texting each other about this was that you asked me what question you should ask Vijay Singh.
Yes, I was creeping on a lot of the pros there that were off in the distance. I had this wonderful perch right in front of the clubhouse where I was doing interviews, and I could look to the left and see the putting green. I looked to the right and see the chipping green. Vijay's just all by himself there, by his lonesome. I think he gave me the eyes at one moment when he drove by his golf court, kind of like maybe, you don't know me and I don't know you, but deep down we know each other. It was like it was a silent exchange. So nothing was said to him at the end, but it was cool to see him out there.
Basically, you just knew that he was a cheater, and he knew that you knew he was a cheater.
Oh yeah, we love our VJ storylines, but yeah, it was cool to see all the legends, like you mentioned, out from the game of golf and from other sports. Former MLB guys, former NFL greats. How about Vince Carter out there? It was cool to see him tee it up.
Yeah.
And there were also some cool former pros from the world of tennis that I caught up with. One of those. Right here was tennis pro Jack Sock, who is a self-obsessed golf nerd and had some really interesting observations about his experience watching the greats play the game.
This is as good as it gets for me. Yep. A golf nerd and love of the game. Honestly, I've been playing now for a bit. I was here last year, which was my first go around at one of these. So kind of got my feet wet last year. Feel a little more comfortable this year. Hopefully. Going to play better as well this year, but yeah, this is a blast for me. Anytime to get out here and to play golf and not be playing tennis is nice.
What's it like socially connecting with the other celebrities and athletes that are kind of playing in different walks of life and kind of have similar professional shared experiences to you, and you're united because of golf, obviously?
Yeah, honestly, it's like networking and talking and meeting people is crazy. Sitting in the player meeting last night, meeting either baseball guys or football guys, whoever it is, it's really cool. And obviously we all share the same passion of golf, but yeah, just hearing the different stories and different careers and paths that everyone takes is super cool. So hopefully play more of these.
What's the best part of your game these days? What are you doing the best of on the golf course these days?
Obviously, I'm just playing better golf right now.
All around, love it.
The paradigm, triple diamond has changed my life. So
there we go.
Golf career, so I'm playing.
Shout out Callaway.
Yeah, just playing a lot better golf at Callaway. If you want to have a conversation, playing a lot better golf. So I think I can. Maybe make a splash this year. Honestly.
Nice. My last question. We love to end with our 19th hole question for any guests I have. What's your go-to meal and drink when you get into the clubhouse after the round?
Oh man, honestly, a chicken Caesar salad is just right up my alley.
Popular answer.
Right up my alley. They got a Modelo on draft in there that's pretty good with the lime, and or good old transfusion or something.
Can't go wrong with training. Love that too. Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
19th hole, chicken Caesar. I'm a big fan of a chicken Caesar, so I love that this just keeps popping up as our 19th hole answer for a lot of people. Yeah,
it's like the little engine that could in the answer. Everyone knows the answer is a burger, but for some reason the chicken Caesar flavor just keeps coming up. They like it. It's light, it's refreshing, it's easy to get down, and there's another chicken Caesar on the board. So shout out Jack, and it looked like he had a great time during the rest of his week as well too.
And there was, during the event, of course, Mark Hensby won the pro side of the event.
In the playoff. Yep.
Tony Romo, he avenged his loss to Mardy Fish.
He did, yes. He got the win, and he famously put 2 balls in the water here last year to help give Marty the win. Romo avenged the loss big time, though, with the 4-point victory. But I did get to catch up with Mardy as well, too, tennis legend in his own right. And he had some really interesting comparisons between his game and the different pros that he's played with in these events in recent years.
They're probably the same player. They just hit it a little shorter, maybe. They're straight as heck, butt and chip it like crazy. So it's always fun to, not to put them in the same, with the LPGA as well. We just play a different sort of style of, golf. It seems like these guys can hit it pretty close to just as far. Obviously, they hit it straighter and all that stuff, but it's fun to just see how they get around the course and how they score. And they score so well and without hitting it, 350 yards. That's really interesting to me. And so, pretty much every name, you're like, I know that guy, or I remember that name, or whatever.
A lot of flashbacks.
Yeah, I remember a Masters here, or a US Open there, and obviously Lee and Darren winning the British, and getting to play with Lee, winning the US Open a couple times. So, it's super cool.
How's your game right now? What part of your game are you working on the most?
I'm working on everything, just swinging and hitting in the middle of the face on the range. Again, I don't play. I've played 18 holes since January, since I played that.
That's it, huh? Really?
But I hit some balls from time to time. Honestly, I feel like it helps me sort of reset and not really think about swing thoughts or anything like that. I grew up sort of learning on my own and never really taken a lesson or anything like that. So it's kind of a feel game for me. And honestly, I feel like more the time goes by, it's sort of reset and not really get sort of the bad swings out of my mind a little bit maybe. Usually just kind of helps me.
I got to echo what Mardy says there, Alex. The ability of these legends to still go play the game on the Champions Tour and play it better than I will probably ever play is just impressive.
I know, and I was still seeing some of the old swings from our childhood. Like, how great was it? I was just standing there on the tee box all by myself, just watching Chris DeMarco hit a driver. I'm just like, God, the good old days, Mike. Remember, my man, Chris DeMarco should have 2 Masters, but that's another story for another day. But it was cool to see some of the greats of the game, and they're still crushing it out there in the PGA Tour Champions. If you haven't been to a PGA Tour Champions event yet, I would consider you going. Just brings a lot of fun throwback names back into your golf lexicon, and it was a great time in Dallas as well.
Speaking of back in the lexicon, the other interview in this week's episode, full interview, is, of course, with Kevin Millar from the Boston Red Sox.
Oh, yeah.
That's my attempt at a Boston accent. I know it's not very good. But,
very well done. Nice.
There you go. And we'll have more chats from your time there as well. So it'll be great. We'll see what it's all about. This week, too, you're not stopping this travel. You have even more coming up. I'm not able to go with you back to a place we have been before next week. Yeah. But it is a place I wish I could be going back to all the time between its golf courses, it's beautiful mountains.
You'll just have to buy a watermelon. How's that for a hint?
Yes, especially at sunset.
Yeah, I'm excited to share my mystery destination this week, which I'm looking forward to getting back to. Those out there probably know where it is by now, but I will say there's some major implications where I'm going this week. Very major implications. I'm talking about like the next major championship. Like that's coming up real soon too. So I'm going to encourage you right now, if you're not already, to follow us on social, and you can find out exactly where I'll be this weekend. On Twitter, I'm at Course of Life 1. On Instagram, we're at COL Podcast, and I'm at Course of Life Alex. That's where you can follow along. A lot of great content upcoming, and the Course of Life Traveling Roadshow basically continues to a new destination.
Where we won't be going to, though, is the Mexico Open, which is what the PGA Tour is headed to next. It's at Vidanta. And other than Jon Rahm, who's for some reason making another trip to defend his title here, there is maybe Tony Finau, and that's kind of, I mean, the other names I was looking at his names of some of these guys that are playing out here: Jon Rahm, Tony Finau, Nikolai Højgaard, It's kind of the end of the names I know. There's Ches Reavie. I mean,
wow, Ches Reavie's a top line name for you these days, huh?
Yeah, I know, right?
Okay. Well, if Ches Reavie's on the top line of your acts, you might not have a great music festival. That'd be my advice out there.
My question is, though, how much longer will we be playing this Mexico Open at Vidanta when it is a Greg Norman signature course?
That is an interesting caveat. Thank you for bringing that up. And also with this feel to it's just another blow to this idea of designated versus non-designated and how these non-designated events are going to survive when they don't have these high quality fields. So I shout out and I commend and thank Jon Rahm desperately because he is single-handedly holding up the strength of this field, which is otherwise, let's just admit it, pretty weak out there. You just put Tony Finau, Gary Woodland on the top line, maybe Nikolai Højgaard, who just got his membership last week, is on the top line. And it's showing in the odds, Mike. This is like a Tiger Woods 2001 type of betting odds scenario this week for Jon Rahm at the Mexico Open. He's plus 290 to win, Mike. He's like 3-1 odds to win the tournament. Some of the lowest pre-tournament odds I've seen in years for a regular regulation PGA Tour event. So that tells you how prohibitive of a favorite he is this week.
I mean, do I think he's going to win? Yes. Would I put $1 down on the field instead of on Jon Rahm? Also, yes.
Yeah, I'm betting away from him. That I won't spoil too much of my picks. You can read my full preview at runyourpool.com for the Mexico Open, but I'm going to bet away from Rahm. There's just not enough value there at such low odds. You know, if you think about your standard bet, if you're betting $2 on each of these guys at 10 or 20-1 odds, that's fine because you make hay. You got to bet $20 of that amount to make hay on Jon Rahm bet in the same way. So the deck's loaded against him. It's like that Tiger-like expectation when he goes to like a Canadian Open or a Buick Open back in the day. It's like, all right, how much is Tiger going to win by? And if he doesn't win, it's an utter disappointment. That's a funny spot to sit in for Jon Rahm, but on the heels of the Masters win, that's what it looks like this week. So I'll be curious to see if he gets it done.
All right, let's switch over to Tuned In, where we share what we're tuning into outside of the world of sports. You know, this past week I've been binging Ted Lasso. Speaking of Arlo White from LIV Golf.
Yes, good tie-in. Yep.
Watching Ted Lasso season 1, and I'm in the middle of season 2 because season 3 came out a while ago, and I just haven't watched it yet. But I need a refresher on season 1 and 2, and it's just as fantastic as I remember it.
Just as great the second time around, huh?
It is. I mean, look, Ted Lasso is just one lovable guy. You can't deny it. So, have
you seen the real life Ted Lasso story playing out with Ryan Reynolds and the club that he owns? They're at Wrexham FC there.
I mean, I don't know if this is that real life. He hasn't brought in a American D3.
That's the next step. That's the next step is to bring in the American coach to like truly make it the story. But shout out to Wrexham FC for the upgrade. They're getting upgraded to the English League. So big win for Reynolds in his own right there. So my throwback is footage from 1911, which I stumbled upon on Instagram. And the only reason I did, Mike, is because something very weird happened on Thursday night here in Austin, Texas. So we had a thunder and lightning storm. Now, all of a sudden, loud strike of lightning hits foreseeably somewhere within feet of our house to the point where it literally zapped and fried our upstairs TV as we were watching it. The TV is unusable. It does not turn on. There is no screen. It doesn't plug in and show electricity or anything. And the cable box had to be replaced with the one downstairs. The bottom line, we have TV up and running again, but we're out of TV. So after the Zap TV, I was sitting on social media and I saw 1911 footage redoctored by a filmmaker, which I tagged you in Instagram, which was absolutely fascinating just to see the way people walk, talked, and act 100+ years ago in New York City. And I will tag COL Podcast in some more clips as footage becomes available. But it was utterly fascinating to me when I was having a TV-free evening the other night.
Look, all you need to know is that back in 1911, all the men wore dark suits and hats. The women wore hats and dresses. And everything looked a little more sepia in terms of color palette.
Well said. And the thing I noticed, too, is notice how everyone had their head up. We don't. We all have our heads buried in our phones now, and we're so used to like neck and back problems. I'm sure they didn't have as many back in the day. God, the posture was beautiful in 1911. So check out COL podcast. I'll tag the account in some 1911 New York City footage, and we're TV shopping in the next week as well too.
All right, let's get to this week's first guest because it is a double header today. And we'll start with someone you spoke to during the Chevron Championship last week, someone who you've actually talked with before on this podcast.
That's right. Talking about Gemma Dyburgh, Scottish pro, LPGA Tour winner as well, too. The last time we caught up with her, Mike, was just days after she won in Japan. So she was doing that whole media whirlwind, and I got to ask her a few questions, and we had her on in November. So it was good to actually meet her in person, catch up with her, see what's going on with her life, and obviously ask the all-important questions about her winning toilet as well, too.
We'll get to that conversation with Gemma in just a second. But first, let's talk about our good friends at Desert Fox Golf. We talk about them all the time because they've been with us for a long time. We love all their stuff that they do, especially that Desert Fox phone caddy. But we need to talk about this new thing they're doing, Alex, this new referral program they have going on.
Yeah, it's very easy for all the golf fans out there, anyone who's part of a large company or organization or part of a large golf tournament that needs some jazzed up things in their swag bag. Desert Fox Golf is here for you out there. So listen up. It's very simple. If you are a Desert Fox Golf fan or if you're a golfer that's planning an outing with 100 or more people and you're buying Desert Fox products, they will give you a $100 referral fee just for sending the business their way. That's how great they are. They want to be part of your event, whether it's through the towel, the Swing 8 tumbler, the phone caddy. If you've got an event of 100 plus, you can put $100 in your pocket. It's a really cool way not only to get these products to you and all your coworkers and your friends and your network, but you can do it and put some money in your pocket as well too. So you know desertfoxgolf.com already. You know quote unquote Course of Life for our gear. But if you're planning an event, most importantly, get your event together and connect us with your event coordinator, and we'll give you a $100 referral free, courtesy of Desert Fox Golf. Again, Desert Fox Golf are friends of the show, and they're here to put some money in your pocket as well, too. All right, it's Alex with the Course of Life podcast, live here at the Chevron Championship with a friend of the show who's been on the podcast before. And we're here with her in person. It's Gemma Dyburgh joining us. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
It's great to see you. The last time we spoke was a complete whirlwind. It was the Wednesday after you won at the Pelican.
Yep.
I think the celebration juice was still in you at the time. But now that we're about 6 months removed, just how is everything with your life and what's changed for you?
Yeah, it was life-changing, I guess. It was, kind of got me into all the events this year, got me into this event. I've not played this event before. So, and I got to play in Asia in February, Singapore and Thailand, and obviously the Tournament of Champions as well at the start of the year. So, yeah, it's been a whirlwind since then, but all good stuff.
And so this is your first Chevron Championship, correct?
Yeah.
And new course, what are your first thoughts here? We're back in my home state of Texas. This event's been in Palm Springs for a while, but it's at a brand new venue here, which looks absolutely stunning, as people can see.
It is. Yeah, it is stunning. It's going to be interesting to see what the scores are like. I think it's pretty tough. It's pretty long from the practice rounds, at least. We'll see how it plays. But it's a great course. The greens are running nicely. So, yeah, looking forward to playing it. Had you hit the shot here, the 65-yard wedge to the Texas flag? Any luck with that or no? I hit it yesterday, and the player before me, Stacey Lewis, she told me to hit it a little bit further. So then I went a little bit long, and then I got the next couple I got on the green. So yeah,
I think she's playing tricks on you for the Solheim Cup later this year.
Yeah,
or something.
maybe
She's got something in her mind there. I know what's going on there.
Yeah, mind games.
All right, so we need to get to the goofiest part of your amazing win in Japan, which was the unbelievably luxurious toilet that you received courtesy of Toto. For people who don't know, Gemma won last November, was it correct?
Yep.
In Japan. October. And you were gifted quite the toilet. Tell us everything that this amazing toilet does, because I've heard a lot about it. Yeah, pretty much everything. So as soon as you walk in the room, the seat lifts up for you. It's got little lights if you go to the toilet in the dark. Nice. And then it's got a little bidet for you, warm seat if you need it. So it's got it flushes for you as well. So can it play music at all? Or I'm sure it can. I think sometimes in the Japanese, I remember when going into the airport in Japan, and
they have little noises so people can't hear you go to the bathroom. So I'm sure it does all of that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I just had to ask. I'm sorry. I'm sure. I guess it makes the bathroom trip a little bit more enjoyable, right?
Exactly.
And you get to think of the win every time you go to the bathroom, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's been interesting though. Every time I've been going into hotels or even golf clubs, I see the Toto kind of sign. So they're everywhere, which I didn't notice before. But I've got the state of the art one. So
that was very cool. Very cool to see. One thing we have to get to, because I know this is near and dear to your heart, is the unbelievable season that your alma mater, Tulane, had on the football field. You know me, because I bet every single college football game there is, and I know everything about every school. So to see the Green Wave ride the wave they did last season, tell me what it was like from your perspective, being an alumni.
So exciting. I mean, when I was at school, we weren't too great. So just to see the excitement behind the football team and the school spirit, had never seen anything like it there. And, I was with some alumni that are much older than me, and they said they've never seen anything like it themselves. So I was there for the conference championship game.
Yes,
we stormed the field afterwards. So that was so cool. It's giving me goosebumps thinking about it. But I watched the bowl game in London. We had like a Tulane alumni watch party.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was so cool. But yeah, never seen anything like it. So hopefully we can, like you said, ride the wave this season. We'll see.
That's right. And then they won that crazy Cotton Bowl against USC.
Yeah.
I forgot about that game too. To cap it all off.
Yeah, so I'm from the UK, so I don't know all the rules to football. I know most of them, but the safety rule I'd never seen before. Yeah. So I was just
it is a weird one, admittedly.
What is happening? And I'm like, oh, we can win this. So it's pretty cool.
Well, I don't know why it's 2 points, but I'll take it.
Yeah, we'll take it. Exactly.
Very cool. All right, let's get to some fun stuff. You've been on the show before. It's Gemma Dyburgh here, back on the Course of Life. Let's do a quick little this or that, but a Texas edition.
Okay.
You're in the Lone Star State too.
All
okay,
right.
so
like
one
it.
or the other. The first one is Texas foods. Would it be tacos or barbecue for you? What's your favorite?
Oh, tacos. I had tacos last night.
Okay. All right. And course wise, do you prefer a flat, fast course, or do you prefer more undulation, maybe a slower course? What's your preference?
I like a bit of both, but since we're in Texas, I'll go for flat and firm and windy.
Love it. Win the Solheim Cup this year or a major this year?
Oh, that's a tough one. I might go for win a major.
I like that.
Yeah.
You can also say both too.
I can. Ideally both.
Sunrise golf or sunset?
Sunset.
Okay. And last but not least, in the hotel TV, do you watch movies? Or you just flip the channels?
I do like watching movies, actually. Yeah.
What are you into lately? What have you seen recently?
I've kind of been in between shows at the moment. I'm kind of looking for a new one, so I'm open to suggestions.
Okay, well, Succession is all the rage.
Okay,
right now.
Succession. That'll be my next one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife lured me in, and all of a sudden, I'm now paying attention to every episode.
Okay.
So if it's one of those shows, it's pretty sticky.
I'll try that tonight.
Very cool. All right, so we're going to do our Texas hospitality now. Have you ever heard of or seen a Buc-ees in your life? Do you know what a Buc-ees is?
Is that the huge gas station?
It is.
Okay, yeah. I think I've maybe been to one, but I've heard they're famous.
The bag of fun now.
Oh, here we go.
We've got snack choices for you, but you can only choose one.
So they have their own merchandise.
So this is the Nutty Bites right here. This is the jalapeno cheese puffs right here. We're still going.
Still going.
So you're the first interview of the day. So you have the luxury of all the choices.
So I get to choose.
This is the sweet and savory trail mix.
Wow. We're still going.
Banana and milk chocolate chip mix.
Oh, that looks good to me.
These are world famous. These are their beaver nuggets, kind of like a corn nugget.
Wow. So this is what they're majorly famous for?
Or their chocolate meringues. As you can see, everything's got a Buc-ees logo on it. So It's all Texas. So which one are you going to go with?
I'm going to go for these. I love bananas and chocolate. So
can't go wrong with chocolate, right?
No.
All right. It's all yours.
Awesome. Thank you.
There you go. Gemma, thank you so much for joining us, hopping back on the show. Best of luck this week, this year, and we'll be sure to catch up again.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you.
Great chat there with Gemma Dyburgh. I just love that she got a toilet. I just think that's hilarious, and I think she's right. It's got to sing and dance for $4,000.
Yeah, I know. I think right? It might even be more. Honestly, I think they retail like $8,000 to $10,000 or something like that. But shout out to Toto. That's always a great sponsor. When you're winning a luxury toilet for winning an LPGA event. But just love having that subtle reminder. Hey, listen, maybe going to the bathroom is not always the most pleasant experience, but it's a subtle reminder of one of the greatest accomplishments of your professional life. So why not enjoy it? So shout out to Gemma for being a good sport and answering the funny and goofy questions that we had. We love having her on the show. And she had a decent week playing all 4 rounds and the weekend at the Chevron. So good to see her play well.
Let's get into our second guest today. It's someone who I have respect for, and yet I still hate with my whole being. And that is a world champion of the Boston Red Sox.
That hurts so much for you to say, and I loved every second of it right there. I knew that intro was going to be teeth grinding for you. That's why I made you pull through anyway, and I appreciate that you did. Kevin Millar is on the show, Red Sox legend. We get into all sorts of funny tidbits surrounding his thoughts on baseball, golf, and yeah, he addresses my co-host as well too directly. Check this out. All right, we're live, the Course Life podcast from the Invited Celebrity Classic. So many connections with this next guest, from Boston to Austin, baseball, golf, everything in between. Kevin Millar, world champion, joining us here on the show. Kevin, how you doing today?
Hey, this is unbelievable. I'm trying to figure out how to hit a few shots in the wind, even putts. The wind kind of plays a factor.
Yeah, man. So how's the golf game treating you? I know I see you at a good amount of these events, and you have an opportunity to play alongside of a lot of different pros. What's the experience like for you here?
It's awesome, man. You realize this game, there's no really max, and a lot of guys, like myself, want to come out here and try to hit that golf ball. It's a golf swing, but it's just the repetition that these guys have and the senior guys to watch how easy they swing the club. And their ball doesn't do anything to win. And guys like myself swing that club hard, and then all of a sudden the wind's going shoom. So I just love this sport. It was something that I took up after I got done playing, in 2010. So you start as like a 30 handicap, and then I've been down to about a 5, just sitting here waiting to kind of figure the rest out.
Yeah, man, that's that tough hump. I'm right there with you. This morning, I saw you had a fascinating conversation because I know you love getting into the mechanics of the swing in every aspect, baseball and golf. And you were talking on the tee there with Jeff Maggart, who you're playing with, about kind of the mechanics and ball speed and what it all means. What do you enjoy picking up and learning specifically about the golf swing when you get out in here and see the West?
Well, it's funny, like guys like Jeff, they work inside the golf ball, so that over-the-top swing that we all have, is not good in golf. But baseball is very similar. And so I was talking about, like, we're taught to take the knob of the bat to the baseball, so when you're working in the cages with some soft toss, it's you think about knob to the bat and then the barrel comes through. It's the same thing with golf, that knob comes through and then the club. So there's so many similarities other than they get to their front side. We're in baseball, we're on our backside, and that's my miss, that high and right miss, because you get stuck.
Yeah, you're getting your shoulders into it. I saw it. You got some good action there. Obviously, don't let us win tonight, right? Take me back to 2004, the year you changed my life as a Boston Red Sox fan growing up. Obviously, you got special memories from that year. I'm assuming it never gets old talking about that team, right?
No, we had such a great group of guys. And I always say we weren't the best players, but we were the best team. And so I always, most fans, if their team was knocked out and you weren't a Red Sox or a Yankee fan, I felt that you were rooting for us because we were like normal guys. And to be down 0-3, obviously, was a miserable day. That night they beat us pretty good, but to come in game 4 and basically, don't let us win tonight. And it was the truth. And Derek Lowe was pitching, and the matchup didn't look good on paper.
We just saw earlier Derek Lowe.
Yes. Yeah. And so, we had a chance to win that game. Poppy homered off Quantrill in game 5. Here we go. We got Pedro Schilling, and anything happened in game 7. And it kind of worked out exactly the way, I was popping off that day, trying to get the boys going. And when you're down 0-3, it's not fun, but it worked out to be awesome.
This question is purely for my co-host who will be listening as he's editing this interview, and he's a lifelong Yankees fan. I'm a lifelong Red Sox fan. Tell me about the vibe and the emotion when you could probably hear a pin drop at the end of that Game 7 in Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, it was awesome because 0-3, Aaron Boone got us, and we're walking off that stadium, and it was just a sad day in that locker room. And then to do that 1 year later, same 2 teams, it was amazing. And I knew that once we won Game 6, that Game 7, like the pressure just switched. Here we are, have all the pressure, trying to make this a great series, and then next thing you know, the Yankees are trying to win a game, and they couldn't do it. So, what's his name?
Michael,
I'm going to let you know, it's not our fault. We gave you a 3-game lead. You can't be mad at us. And by the way, they said rivalry. At that time, it was 27-0. So now we've got 04, 07, 13, 18. And I think the Yankees only won 9, Michael.
Yeah, it's starting to add up, man. I can't remember last time they won. Gosh,
Yeah,
it's been a
the
while.
Bruins, the Celtics. It's getting, Brady and the Patriots. It was
How closely tied are you now, all these years after, to the Boston sports scene? Because it's on fire right now as we're listening with the Bruins and the Celtics, obviously.
Yeah, I got boys, and they love the Boston Celtics and the Bruins and the Red Sox, so they live and die. So we're a family that watches all the Boston sports. Patriots, they're huge Brady fans, and obviously he's gone, but.
We'll have to get you out to the Patriots bar in Austin sometime this fall. We can watch a game together.
Let's do it, man.
Like so tell me about your life in Austin, where we both live right now. I've been there for 13 years and grew up in Boston. It's obviously a big culture change for myself, but how long have you been in Austin? What do you enjoy most about living there?
We moved there in 2010, 13 years.
Yeah.
And we, at that time, had 4 kids that were in kindergarten or underneath. And so we wanted to put them in a nice school district. We lived in Beaumont, Texas while I played. My wife's from Beaumont. I grew up in Los Angeles, so I said I wanted to live in Texas.
Yeah.
And I've been here 31 years in Texas, but now Austin 13. Great place to raise a family. We're on Lake Austin, so you're tubing, you're having fun, and just letting kids be kids, because the world got crazy for a little bit. And it's been a great place that you can stay outside and play.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, take everyone through the Lake Austin vibe where you're situated, because I see some great pictures you post on Instagram with your sons joining the grill and the pool. What's the typical, Saturday with no plans day like on the lake for the Millars?
Yeah, that's a great, usually we're running around doing baseball stuff and tournaments and all this stuff, but the days that we have, it's just you go down there, you get on the boat, and, it's such a great lake because it's like a 250 yards wide, so it's like a river, right? But you have just families out there, and like I said, the kids surfing, the new things of surfing. Like wakeboarding used to be cool. It's not cool. It's like kind of like snowboarding and snow skiing, right? Everybody wants to get on the snowboard. So the surfboard's kind of fun because you're only going like 8 to 10 miles an hour, so your body doesn't, get terribly hurt. So the kids, they love surfing, and we have some fun, and you only get these days so long, and then all of a sudden they're growing up and leaving.
Nice. Love it. We always end with food with our podcast guests. Let's ask some food questions. Obviously, Austin's a great city for it. I'm sure you must have some sort of taco pick, whether it's you or the kids. Where do you like to go and get your tacos or Tex-Mex in the capital city?
Yeah, it's funny. We live by a place. Flores is our go-to.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Great
Flores has the perfect margarita. I always say, you have 2 of those, you're going to have rosy cheeks. So they're consistent. The chips and salsa is a big thing for me. You got to have good salsa. You can't. I want to crave going there and getting chips, salsa. You got to have a nice queso. So it's when they get too crazy and try to get too authentic.
Watery salsa or thicker salsa?
Give me a thicker salsa. Like, Hula Hut's a great one down there on the lake. They got great salsa. Flores got great salsa, a little bit spicy. And that's my go-to.
I love it. And we end with our 19th hole question. So it's really easy because you're just in the clubhouse now. But when you finish a great round of golf, you get into the 19th hole. What's your go-to order, your favorite meal and drink to order in the clubhouse?
So I am old school. I love a good burger and fries after golf. And if I'm going cocktail, it's going to be a Crown and 7. If I'm going, usually I'm a fake drinker. I'll drink, but I can't just pound all day. Like some of my buddies, they're drinking 30 beers. You play 36 holes. I'm like, bro, I'd be out. I'm cheap.
I've seen how Jeremy Roenick operates. I know what's going on.
They can roll, but give me a nice Coke, hamburger, French fries, and if they have a good homemade soup. And, I'm a big soup guy, broccoli and cheese, potato, something like the tortilla. It doesn't have to be cold out. I love having a soup.
Yeah, I saw tortilla soup made it on Scotty Scheffler's Masters menu, too. Did you see that Champions Dinner menu? Yeah?
Yes. See, I'd be simple like that. If there was some baked potato and steak, bingo, a nice Italian salad or something like that. But a burger and fries at a golf course.
Love it. Hey, Kevin, thank you so much for hopping on, man. Appreciate it, and I'll see you in Austin around, all right?
Appreciate you.
We're back. Kevin Millar.
That's unbelievable. Kevin Millar just iced you on the podcast. What world are we in?
I'm sorry. You have 4 World Series. Yawn. Talk to me when you get to double digits.
Yeah,
okay?
you love doing the 27. I know. Yeah, 27 to 4, right? Is that what your scoreboard is?
Talk to me when you get to 10, and we'll see how we're doing. Has your team won multiple World Series in a row? No. It's not, we're not even in the same ballpark to have this conversation.
So here's the problem, Mike, is I'm never going to bring a former Yankee on this podcast to defend you unless you do it yourself.
I was going to say, what if Derek Jeter reached out to you? What if Derek Jeter reached out to you, Alex, and said, I want to be on the podcast? Would you say no to Derek Jeter?
I'll say yes. We'll just talk golf. Yeah. I'll just do 15, 20 minutes of golf. So, Derek, how are your wedges these days anyway? Yeah. Really cool full circle moment there. Obviously, for those who don't know, the genesis of this podcast is myself being a lifelong Red Sox fan and Mike being a lifelong Yankees fan. So really need to have Kevin on to help settle our score, which will continue forever, and relive those fun Red Sox-Yankees rivalry days. 0304, great memories indeed. Right before we met each other at Quinnipiac University. So really cool having Kevin on. And hopefully, now since I know he's an Austin, Texas resident, we'll connect and maybe play some golf down the line as well, too.
There you go. And if you like that chat with Kevin Millar plus Gemma Dyburgh and everything else we've been doing here on this podcast, make sure you punch that subscribe button on the podcast app you're using right now. Literally do it right now, unless you're driving, and then you really shouldn't do it right now, because that's not safe and you should keep your eyes on the road. But when you stop your car and you park it, you should hit subscribe. You should follow us on Instagram, COL Podcast, Course of Life Alex, MWRINC. You should follow us on Twitter. If you still use Twitter, it's okay if you don't. Course of Life 1 and MWRINC.
Nailed it.
I'm on Mastodon, but I don't do anything on Mastodon, but you can follow me there. I don't remember what my handle is there. It's another Twitter, only it's not Twitter. We're on YouTube too, so you can see some videos and stuff that we post there as well. Plus, if you want to watch the podcast, quote unquote, watch, you want to actually see our faces. You'll just see a still image, but you can watch the podcast because we have radio faces. So,
well, the nice thing about YouTube is I find myself watching videos during the day when I'm doing work. So it's nice just to always throw the pod up in a tab as well too, and you can just play that in the background while you're doing your work. So that's when I think YouTube does pay off in some spots on the desktop.
There you go. But for now, let's hashtag always end with food.
Yes, always end with food, our food segment to every Course of Life podcast. And let's just get into my road trip obsession with Buc-ees that obviously happened last week. I mean, so I did the full Texas Triangle. If you can imagine this in your head, I went Austin to the Woodlands. I got some snacks for our LPGA pros along the way. You just heard right there Gemma Dyburgh with the first draft pick in the snacks I got from last week's episode. She picked the banana and chocolate chips first, the chocolate chip covered bananas. She picked those first. I was surprised by that.
Yeah.
You thought it might have gone in a different direction. We'll see what happens in the weeks to come.
That was going to be last, I think is what we said.
You know, I don't know. Maybe that's the Scottish in her, just the non-American picking something a little outside the box. But yeah, she went with the banana chips. So other snacks are on the board. Be sure to tune in for future LPGA interviews to see who picks what in the coming weeks. But yeah, Buc-ee's obsession was full on. Then I did the 4-hour drive from Houston to Dallas. That was a grind, but had the Celtics game as my accompaniment. And then back down from Dallas to Austin, Mike, I was wondering what I was going to get for dinner. And then I realized, screw it. I'm just going to Buc-ee's for dinner because you can. It was amazing. Sliced brisket sandwich. Got myself the snacks I didn't get on Monday. And the full-on Buc-ee's obsession just continues on.
There you go. I mean, if I had a Buc-ee's within an hour, it's about 2.5 hours to Buc-ee's. I might go to a Buc-ee's every once in a while, but I got to be in the right direction to get to one now.
Nothing better than when you pull up the map on the road trip and then you hit the magical Buc-ee's word, you hit enter, and you just see locations right off the highway. That's just doesn't get it. There are not many better feelings in the road trip universe than that. So I enjoyed Buc-ee's multiple times, and we'll be back again. Shout out to our friends at Buc-ee's, and we are open for an endorsement deal whenever you guys are ready as well, too.
I'd love to. I'll rock the beaver.
Love it. All right, that's a wrap on Always End with Food and a wrap on this week's Course of Life. A loaded episode. Thank you for staying this long. If you haven't yet, please subscribe wherever you're listening, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for joining.